For this episode, I decided at the last minute to give you a peek into my professional life. Yesterday, I started working on a new version of my online portfolio website, and I just figured I might as well just make a process video of its production. When it comes to my portfolio, I tend to wing it, so there's a ton of free thought going on, and maybe you might get something out of it. As someone who has been marketing himself as a professional web developer, I've always thought it necessary to really push the boundaries in some way. I've been doing this for about 20 years now, and my website has gone through many iterations. I've been averaging a new design and rebuild about every 2 years. But I'm a web developer. Why would I not? So where do I start? At the beginning. As far as figuring out a direction, I usually take a few days to brainstorm internally. If a big idea hits, I note it down and set it to the side, so I can come up with more ideas. Otherwise, I seek inspiration from technologies or frameworks that I've been wanting to get into. For example, when I was building my current website, I wanted to desperately get into the Web 3D space, so I spent a few weeks deep diving into the technology and built my portfolio out of it. As a result, I received many inquiries for 3D development projects. For this new portfolio, my big idea hit me like a ton of bricks. What if I start with a flat-colored full-screen background and the whole screen starts to shrink? While it's shrinking, it reveals that the full-screen tile was actually a zoomed-in pixel of an image. It's a very simple idea, it's bold, and best of all, easily doable. God, I'm so excited. I've been waking up at night thinking about how this will be put together. So here's where I'm at now. Yesterday, I decided to spend some time on my content management system, CMS. This will make it super easy for me to add new projects and keep my portfolio up to date. I'm using a service called Prismic. Once I got a few test projects inputted, I started working on the actual framework of the site. First thing I wanted to get out of the way, retrieving the data from the CMS. It's probably going to be the biggest pain point in the entire project, so I might as well take my medicine now. 2 hours later, I'm successfully retrieving the data and organizing it for my own use. Usually, for a more complex project, I would call the data individually as needed. In this case, though, I decided to just grab all the data when the site loads. Time to take a break and chill for the night. So I woke up super early this morning and it's raining really hard right now. And then I realized, hey, maybe I should turn this web project into a process video for Prevailable. I mean, I don't know, what would viewers get out of it? I could probably just ramble on about stuff while people watch how crazy my thought process is. Anyways, a couple of hours of development later and I have my general framework set up. The zoom effect seems to work exactly how I envisioned it, and I decided to add a rudimentary navigation system, just so I have a way to swap between pages while I develop it. Very cool so far though. When a new page is clicked, the appearance of the next tile is pretty abrupt, so I'm planning on smoothing it out by adding an animation transition to it. Over the next couple of days, I work further on getting this project out the door. I'm watching football. Antonio Brown just walked off the field. I actually managed to get quite a bit done. The background images are at full res, which will probably be too much once I add the content overlays. So I add a blur effect once the image is completely revealed. I also added my new branding elements, including my logo and email link. I made these as SVGs to allow for dynamic color changing via CSS. This will also prevent the UI elements from disappearing when their colors are too close to whatever's behind them. The navigation is a bit more worked out as a sliding thumbnail carousel. I only have 4 items now, but it's already built to display as many items as I need. I've also designated the content area, indicated by the white transparent box, and it adjusts itself to the size of the window and will always avoid the UI elements. This box's size and positioning is calculated using JavaScript. I've now worked on this through the entire football Sunday, so I'm calling it a night. I'm getting really close to completing the website portion and was so excited, I had a hard time falling asleep. I finally got to add my test content in, and for the most part, it all came together pretty quickly. All of the really hard technical work on this is done. Now it's just a matter of going to town with the animations, playing with the timing of each, and fine-tuning the overall look and feel. I'm feeling pretty good where this is at, and I might just consider this part of the project done. I want to do videos for all the ones that will be included on the site, so that's going to take a bit of time. My first step into this phase, taking inventory of all the video footage I have. And that is how I will end my day on this. Over the next final few days, I decided to take my time with the remainder of the work, as it's really just a grind at this point. My wife just started playing Ghost of Tsushima, and since I don't have time to play massive games like this myself, I watch while she plays it. It's a great thing to have going on in the background while I work sitting right next to her. I start chipping away at all these missing screen captures of my remaining projects. Not too bad, there's only 5 of them left. It takes me about an hour to go back and clean them up. I'm intending to at some point turn these into motion graphics videos, but for now, since I need this site up ASAP, I'm using these as semi-placeholders. For each project, I need a good high-res image to use for the zoomed-in background. I try to get one that is as close to the project as possible. These images also determine the color of all the elements on each page. I have 18 projects to showcase, so this takes a few days. Once I have all of these inputted, there are a few programming tweaks I want to do. I decide to add a preloader to make sure all of the images are loaded before the website starts. This will prevent images popping in if they load after they're animated. I tried adding sound effects, but decided at the end to take it out as it was a bit too distracting. Also, a few of the animations needed to be slightly retimed. My new online portfolio is ready to go. Deploying it takes a few minutes, and before I know it, I'm letting colleagues know and asking them to check it out. General reaction is pretty good so far. All in all, the experience was pretty smooth. It took about a week, though I should probably mention I spent way more than 8 hours a day on it. And I also used my weekend. But hey, this is a big checkmark to slash off. Hopefully, this had some kind of value to you. Usually my projects are hushed under NDAs, and this was a unique chance to show what goes on in my head while working on my projects. Anyhow, that's it for now. Keep your chin up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.